we can speak to Professor of Political Science at Al-Azhar University, Mukaimer Abu Saada, who's currently in southern Gaza. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Mukaimer. I hope you can hear me okay. What is the situation?
Yes.
Oh, great. What is the situation like where you are in southern Gaza?
Well, thanks very much for hosting me. The situation is more than catastrophic here in the Gaza Strip, and I believe most of the Palestinians believe this is the second Nakba of the Palestinian people. The first Nakba, which is the first catastrophe of the Palestinian people, took place in 1948 when more than two-thirds of the Palestinian people were expelled from their land, historic Palestine. And now this is the second Nakba of the Palestinians, as the Israeli army ordered the Palestinian residents of north of Gaza and Gaza City to evacuate to the south of Wadi Gaza, which we're talking about 1.3 million people are ordered to evacuate. The area that people are evacuating to cannot absorb that number of people, not even UNRWA schools. I have seen last night people sleeping on the sides of the streets because they have no relatives, no friends, or UNRWA schools to absorb them. It's a situation for the 8th day with no electricity, no water, food and medical medicine is running out here in the Gaza Strip. It's a complete catastrophe I have never seen in my life, and I have never seen also the destruction that was inflicted by the Israeli army on different area of Gaza City over the past 8 days.
And Mukaimer, Sky News was told earlier that some people who've evacuated from northern Gaza are considering returning to their homes because conditions are so bad. Is there access to food and water?
Yes, I do know that a number of Palestinian families have decided to go back because basically they could not find a place to live or a place to as I mentioned earlier, UNRWA schools are very much have taken the full capacity, and there is no place to go. So some families have decided to go back, and some families also even did not leave from the beginning. Now, in terms of food, yes, people can find food, but in terms of other necessities, it's not there. Not even in the south of Gaza. We're talking about no electricity, and people are going to primitive ways of bringing water or potable water for their homes. And I'm not really sure how people can survive if they go back, since there's going to be probably further Israeli attacks on north of Gaza and Gaza City. It's going to be immensely dangerous for them to go back. But as I mentioned to you, the situation here in the south of Gaza is much more disastrous than what we have expected.
We've heard reports that 70 people were killed in a convoy attempting to evacuate overnight. What more are you hearing about incidents like that?
Well, there are two main roads connecting the Gaza, north of Gaza and Gaza City to the south of Gaza. And as tens of thousands of Palestinians were evacuating from north of Gaza and Gaza City on these two main roads, Salahuddin Street and the other one is Al-Rashid Street, in the middle of the way toward the south, there was a number of incidents in which Israeli air jets bombarded one of the Palestinian convoys going to the south, which, according to Hamas, a spokesperson of the Ministry of Health said 70 Palestinians were killed in those incidents and roughly 200 Palestinians were injured. We're talking about tens of thousands of people. As I mentioned to you, I personally, with my family, evacuated yesterday around 5 p.m. Local time, evacuated from Gaza City to the south and as I was driving, there was a lot of traffic, a lot of hardship on the road, where masses of people taking their belongings and heading south. So you can imagine when there is going to be an airstrike on one of these main two roads with tens of thousands of Palestinians on the road.
Mukaimer, we're hearing that the Rafah crossing into Egypt may open this afternoon. Are you aware of that information yet in Gaza?
I have received information about the possibility that with the U.S. intervention that there might be an opening of the Rafah crossing today, which was bombed by Israel on Tuesday noon a few days ago and led to the closure of the Rafah crossing. Now, whether that is possible or not, it will be seen. But if the Egyptians do open Rafah crossing, there will be thousands of Palestinians with dual citizenship, Americans, Russians, Ukrainians, and other nationalities who are ready to get instructions to go to the Rafah crossing. I think it's going to be chaos and it's going to be a lot of problems, even for those Palestinians who are wishing to leave Gaza today or in the next few days.
And while I've still got you, Mukaimer, could I ask what the reaction is in Gaza to the attacks by Hamas in Israel last Saturday? Do people blame Hamas for the situation now in Gaza?
Look, the Palestinians who have been subjected to an Israeli occupation for the past 55 years and who have been subjected here in the Gaza Strip for a 16-year-long tight Israeli siege and blockade over the Gaza Strip, which turned their life into an impossible life. And also the Palestinians were expelled from their homelands back in 1948. For the Palestinian, most of the Palestinian people hold Israel responsible for their suffering and for the tragic conditions they have been experiencing for the past 75 years. So to be honest with you, when this Hamas military attack took place against Israel, the Palestinians were, so to speak, were happy with that military attack. But as the Palestinians started to see some tragic scenes of attacks against Israeli civilians, that wasn't accepted by most of the Palestinian people. But as I mentioned to you again, it's Israel to be blamed. It's the continuation of the Israeli occupation is to be blamed, and it's also Israel which closed all possible ways of reaching a peaceful settlement to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. The current Israeli government, the right-wing government in Israel, led by Netanyahu and his partners, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, who were determined on keeping the occupation and keeping the Israeli aggression against the Palestinian people, led to this military attack by Hamas against Israel. But at the end of the day, there is no excuse whatsoever to go after civilians, whether in Palestine or in Israel.